Eyewitness News starts right now with breaking news.
And right off the top, a developing situation in eastern Kanawha County, a massive explosion at the Chemours plant in Bell that used to be the DuPont plant. Everyone within at least a 2-mile radius from that plant is now being ordered to shelter in place as a precaution. This occurred just about an hour ago. This is a live look near the plant. Of course, they are basically the police officers there and everyone in control of getting that scene under control are telling everyone to stay back. So we can't get a crew anywhere near that plant right now. But if you've been on Facebook or on any other social media pages over the last couple of hours, you might have seen some pictures beginning to trickle in of what looks like a pretty devastating scene out there. We don't have any confirmation yet about what caused this, but we were on the phone with Kanawha County Commission President Kent Carper just about 15 minutes ago, and he was telling us that one working theory right now is that this was some type of barge accident on the river there. Of course, that plant is right up against the Kanawha River. We're starting to show you some pictures now that are trickling in. This is courtesy of Aaron Spencer. This appears to be maybe drone video. You can see right in the middle of your screen what it looks like there.
In my recollection, the last time we had a situation like this was back in 2008 at the Bear plant in Institute. There was a deadly explosion there. 2 workers were actually killed, and it was an explosion that's being reported like this. We don't really want to compare because we don't know how similar they are. But of course, just like it did tonight, our phones immediately started ringing in the newsroom because people felt those tremors. They felt that explosion, and they knew something was wrong. So here we are again, 2020, and we are trying to figure out exactly what is going on up there in eastern Kanawha County this time. But we do have our crews at a safe distance trying to get a safe vantage point of this as well. But they are being held back by roadblocks that have already been put in place in that that shelter in place zone.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of wind out there right now. It's coming from south to north and it's pretty light. Here's a map kind of showing you where this situation is evolving. So there you have Marmet, and then you have Chesapeake, and I'll start to draw a couple arrows there. There's Marmet, there's Chesapeake. And the authorities right now, they just issued an official statement here that they are asking folks to shelter in place basically from Burning Springs to the Chilean Bridge on the Bell side of the Kanawha River. So that is basically from about right here all the way down. Chilean Bridge is all the way down here. That's Chilean Bridge right there. So they're asking everybody in this zone on that side of the Kanawha River to shelter in place. And the explosion, as we know, is somewhere right in this zone right here right now. So anything that's in the air, any smoke particles would tend to drift towards Quinn Road right there, Ashford Lane, Maple Road, Simmons Creek. So these are all areas, again, that are under that shelter in place warning right now, and all along these communities here. So there's Marmet. Just to give you some perspective here, there's I-64 there on the south side of the river. But again, the wind flow, if anything, is kind of going in that direction here from southwest to northeast. But
looking at that type of destruction, chances of there being at least some people hurt are probably pretty good. But again, we don't want to speculate. We do have Commission President Kent Carper on the phone. Kent, first of all, thank you for joining us at 11:17 p.m. We spoke to you about a half hour ago. Is there anything new to add that you can update us on? And what is specifically the latest with that theory about a possible barge accident causing this?
Rick, first of all, I want to thank WCHS. You all have done an excellent job in informing the public. At this time, we are still requesting a shelter in place in that area. That simply means stay inside, don't go out. We may lift that pretty soon. I do have reports that we had one patient that's been treated. I do not know the extent of the injuries. We have a lot of inconsistent reports. The explosion was massive. There are reports that debris was blown clear across the river. Over to
we still have crews working their way to try to get as near to the location as safely as they can to let us know what's going on. Eyewitness News reporter Danielle Dindak has made her way to eastern Kanawha County. Danielle, what are you seeing and what can you tell us right now at this moment?
Rick, we are right across the river, very close to the Marmet area. And let me pan the camera this way so you could get a look at what we are seeing right now. So not a lot of new information, but what we know is a release just came out from the city not too long ago that there was an explosion in this area. We did have a chance to talk to some people in this area, and they said use caution while driving. There is debris around here. And then we also just learned that a lot of schools are also will be off tomorrow, and that is Riverside, DuPont Middle, East Bank Middle, and Cedar Grove Elementary School.
We're also getting a tweet from Governor Jim Justice. He says that he's been briefed by the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, and they're in coordination with Kanawha County officials in their response to this incident tonight at the Chemours plant in Bell. He says he urges everyone in the area to follow those instructions to shelter in place, and that he's praying for the safety of all involved. We should point out, of course, this is just, incredible video here of this explosion right after it happened, and that was about an hour and a half ago. And as we just heard from Commission President Kent Carper, he says it's starting to burn off. So, and that things are getting a little bit more, hopefully, under control here. But certainly doesn't make the situation any less, worrisome for people who do live in that area and who are currently sheltering in place. And we sort of went over this earlier, but what is sheltering in place? You need to stay inside your house. You need to close all your windows and your doors, and then stay connected to what's going on through the TV or the radio or social media, and follow those instructions. Don't come out. Don't go sightseeing. Don't try to get pictures of it. Don't drive out to do that, to get on social media. Stay inside until officials say that it's safe to come out. We do have our reporters out throughout the area as well, getting close as safely possible. We've just heard that Rachel Urbanski has just arrived in an area. We're going to head out to her to see what she's seen.
That's right. Now, we are in a safe area. We are 2 miles back from the plant. We're on East 21st Street and Canal Boulevard, where, as you can see, law enforcement has blocked off this road. They are turning people around.
Actually, Rick, I have David Fletcher. He's the mayor of the town of Bell here on my cell phone. I have him on speaker, so we're doing it a little bit of an unconventional way, but it was just faster than having to route him through our production in the back here. So, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I think we're picking you up just fine. Can you just tell me, just as your reaction as mayor, what you saw, what you're seeing, and what you want folks there who live in that area to know?
Yes, I sure will. It was about 10 o'clock or so, and actually my wife and I were in the house, and we live just up above the plant, and we heard an explosion.
And his department right now is responding to debris in this area. What does that mean, and what do the people in this area need to know?
Well, primarily what the people in the town of Marmet need to know in the surrounding area is, yes, there have been debris reported from the explosion.
Flames there. This was a major fire. Amazing and great work by the crews to get that put out so quickly. I mean, we just saw what it looks like right now versus what it looked like just a little while ago when those flames were really raging. But you can see all that smoke, and of course that's the concern. What is that? What is in that smoke? It does not look like that's getting blown around. At least it wasn't when this video was shot. It was kind of going just straight up into the air. And again, the winds right now are pretty light. So fortunately, they're not as strong as they were earlier today. They were, about 15, 20 mile an hour gusts occasionally. That could definitely be blowing things a little bit around, dispersing that a little bit. But at this point, it looks like a lot of that smoke was pretty concentrated and just kind of rose straight up into the air right now. And again, a lot of that has been put out, at least as far as those flames, they're all put out there. So that is good news in terms of that. But this video shot from Tamisha Shears just across the river earlier shows you what it looked like when this fire was really raging.
We do have our reporters out tonight at various locations that we, at safe vantage points. We're going to send it out to CJ Harvey. He's at one of the roadblocks that have been set up out there in eastern Kanawha County tonight. CJ?
Yeah, hey guys, we're our vantage point right now, we're on I-64 westbound, like coming back into Charleston. We're looking down on the Bell exit here on Route 60. I'll step out of the shot here. You can kind of see what's happening. Clearly not a lot is going on. Traffic is backed up. Our photographer, Patrick Coleman, who's been here for a little bit, says not a lot of cars have been going in. Emergency vehicles only at this point. He says some people, you can tell, go up to the light, they turn around, realize they can't get through. He says he has seen some cars coming out of the area, but certainly this is still a very busy situation here. Like I said, people are trying to get in, just stopped in their tracks.
And with me here is Captain Clayton Young. He just got off the phone with some good news. So what were they telling you?
So what just happened is we released all our outside agencies as far as EMS resources back to their respected areas.
I'm a little cold. I've been here since about 11:30, and it's 12:49.
Yeah.
So I've been here for a hot minute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about here just a second ago. The work commute, it's 1 o'clock. You know, people are going to have to be getting to work here pretty soon. I mean,
I work in Cross Lanes
yeah.
at Omnicare, so I've been waiting here for a little while.
Have you thought about trying to turn around, or are you just hoofing it out? This is just one of those things you've got to get home.
I just want to go home and go lay in my bed. And my kids are worried about me as well, so they've been calling me and they want me to come home. So I'm just, hopefully it lifts.
Well, this is a scary situation, especially since you can't be with your kids. I'm sure you want to be with your mom and your dad, but you just kind of have to wait and communicate with them through text and phone calls, right?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Hopefully it lifts.
Yeah.
This lifts.
Yeah, okay. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for your time. And guys, like I was saying, this is kind of the line of cars. I don't think you can necessarily see maybe past the truck and around the bend here a little bit, but it is, as far as the eye can see, certainly, it's long way back. But yeah, that's what we've got down here. Obviously, if people start moving, Rick, I know you had said not too long ago, Route 60 is going to be the last portion of traffic to get moving here, but if we do see any movement or if we have any other updates, we'll certainly let you guys know. Back to you.
We're hearing similar stories from so many people about, they just felt that shock and they heard it from so far away because it was just so powerful, Doug.
Yeah, we just got some photos in to our Facebook page. This is from Tyler McIntyre. Those are the pieces of debris we were talking about. They actually totaled his car. It's kind of hard to see, but in that left-hand photo, you see that little light up there. That's a car light. I mean, it's a car. If you can kind of make that out, you could see the size of that piece of metal. And, I mean, he said his car is a total loss. Now, fortunately, he's fine. He says he's fine. But this piece of metal hit his vehicle and totaled it. So we were talking about, we were lucky not to hear about incidents like this, but it appears like as though we did have at least one incident. Now, he's fine, so there were no injuries, but you can see how dangerous this stuff is. This was probably traveling at a very high velocity, too, coming from where it originated. So that is those are some huge chunks of twisted metal. They also look extremely sharp.
And our team is here to, if we needed to transport more patients or treat more patients. I have my team of about 15 with us and about 8 vehicles right now, and we can go ahead and execute that if need be.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where you don't know, right? This is true breaking news, an emergency situation. You don't know how bad it is.
There's people in the inner circle in the hot zone. There's people in the plant. There's the warm zone. We're completely out here in the safe zone in the staging area with our personnel in case something else was needed.
Listen to what we've uncovered here. This is very close to the plant as that explosion was happening. It almost sounded like a gunshot, right? Like a blast. We probably need to play it a couple times because it happened so quickly and then it was over. But yeah, that was a big blast for sure. And I'm not sure exactly how far away Robert Wells lives.
And then a secondary spark, or an aftershock.
But that was loud. I can imagine anyone living like within a mile of that would have thought it was probably like an earthquake or something. It was that percussive.
Yeah. Yeah, on our Facebook, going back through the timeline, people were, around 10 o'clock, people were saying, hey, what just happened? I just felt something. And oftentimes that'll happen when we have an earthquake, a minor earthquake in our area. People will say, hey, I just felt something here. And that's usually that's our first inclination that we had an earthquake, is because viewers contact us, start calling.
With our coverage wrapping up, we just want to go over what happened, where we are now, and what happens next. At about 10 o'clock, a massive explosion at the Optima location at the Chemours plant there at the former DuPont site. Confirmation of 2 injuries right now. The chemicals involved were chlorinated dry bleach and methanol. The fire has since burned itself out and is stabilized right now at the scene. They are still assessing to make sure that it is safe to lift a shelter in place, which is now still in effect. And as you just heard from CJ, Route 60 still shut down for a good couple mile stretch there and will be for the foreseeable future until that shelter in place is lifted. What happens next? The investigation begins. They start looking into what happened and why, and if it could have been prevented. A lot of details still yet to emerge as we sift through the aftermath of this. But we will again stay on top of this throughout the evening and into the early morning hours. You can get the latest news online at WCHSTV.com through all of our social media pages.